All right.
Morning, man.
Good morning.
Top of the morning from the best neighborhood in Pittsburgh, the Strip District. Evo's giving a big thumbs up over there behind the camera. First live show here at Allegheny Coffee and Tea.
First live show ever.
Yeah, ever.
Pretty crazy. We've done a couple of live streaming events on Twitter, Instagram, card giveaways, that kind of thing. But first live event. And I'm pumped about this, man, because not only do we come to Allegheny Coffee and Tea
many times
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. They're huge Pirates fans. This is the best coffee spot in Pittsburgh, but it's a good opportunity to talk baseball.
Yeah, with the fans. We got a lot of foot traffic here in the Strip District. We know the Strip District's always packed on the weekends. It's a little bit of a rainy day here, but excited to maybe answer some fan questions and also talk about last night's game.
Yeah, let's talk about this show and what we want from this show first. So the idea of the live show from Allegheny is to get everybody else involved. So if you're in the comments right now on YouTube or Twitter, ask a question. Debo will read the question out loud to us, and we'll do our best to answer it. And then if you're in the Strip District and you want to come down, we have stickers to give away. You can ask a question, come on the pod, ask it yourself, get your 15 seconds of fame.
And get a coffee.
As well. We're going to have gift cards to give out. So if you come on the show and you are in the Strip District, you'll get a free coffee, essentially.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Just to talk Buccos.
Just to talk Bucks.
The hot Buccos, by the way. They're getting hot.
Let's talk about it.
We're letting them get hot, right?
We let the Pirates get hot. Let's talk about it. They took 2 of 3
in Anaheim.
They probably could have taken 3 of 3.
Yeah, we talked about that on the last episode. Maybe left Carmen in a little bit too long, or maybe we need to move him back to the bullpen. Hindsight's 2020, but they were up 3-0 in that game, and then that Logan O'Hoppe home run tied it up, and they lost it at the end there. But they were ahead for a majority of the game and could have swept that series. Hey, taking 2 of 3 on the road, especially in the West Coast, I'll take that every time. Yeah,
let's talk about Carmen real quick. Burrows is up now.
Yep.
Do you expect him to take over that starter role, or maybe he works out of the pen? Because personally speaking, I think you just let him pitch on the 5th day. I think you've seen enough of a sample size from Carmen where pretty much everybody knows what's going to happen once you get through the order a couple of times.
Yeah, I originally thought when they called him up, Carmen was scheduled to pitch. I thought, hey, maybe they're piggybacking Burrows with Carmen. But I actually like Burrows' stuff in the rotation a lot more at this point. That changeup is nasty. We saw him for a brief moment at the end of last season. But I'd like to see him get a start. And I think Carmen, we could really use him at the back of the pen, especially with the injuries to Meza and Justin Lawrence. I think that stuff could really play up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need some bullpen help. Lawrence is gone. Meza's gone. We don't know how serious Lawrence is now.
Meza's 60-day.
So Meza's going to be out for the count for a while. But pretty excited to see. We got our gift cards, by the way. They are here.
1 free drink.
1 free drink. Come ask a question on the show. What about using him as an opener? Oh, we got a question here.
Yeah, we actually got 2 questions here. We'll start with our first 2 live questions. Real quick one. Friend of the show, Jim Rosati here, asking, what are your coffee orders?
Oh,
Shore's going to have a good time with this one.
Glad you asked, Jim. Glad you asked.
Expose him.
So I've been going to Allegheny ever since I moved to the Strip a couple of years ago. Pretty much wanted to try every coffee place in the Strip. So I went to a new place every weekend, decided Allegheny is by far the best. Started coming here pretty much anytime I could when I work from home, every day on the weekends. And they have a rotating menu of specials, different coffees that they put together. Last summer, they had something called the Jolly Roger coffee. And they had the Pirate Parrot on the chalkboard. And it's a mocha coconut latte. Scott was giving me a lot of flack for it when I came out and said, and then I said, it's a Jolly Roger latte. It's Pirates podcast. Get off my back. Debo tried it. He said it was, quote, unreal. This is so good. I've only had a couple of sips so far, but I highly recommend it. The Jolly Roger's not on the menu, but ask for a mocha coconut latte. Top tier.
Jim said, Oh, sounds great, though.
I'll be real quick with mine. I'm very basic. I usually get a double espresso shot. Shocker.
Let's go. Here we go.
But now I'm just drinking a tall, hot black coffee, medium roast. So pretty basic.
What's the man behind the camera got?
Also very basic. Iced Americano every time for the last million days of my life.
Nice.
Love that. You had another question?
We got one more, but we'll take it back to pitching now. Take it back to the rotation. We got one from Pool Party here saying, can we break down the Paul Skeens contract? How long is he currently under our control?
But it's 6 years the rookie contract, right? So we've got him for theoretically 5. He's entering his second year. So do the math. He started last year, so we got him until 2030, 2029.
That sounds right. I'm pulling up the SPO track right here. So right now, Skeens makes $875,000 a year, which let's just maybe make that the conversation. You're only paying Paul Skeens $875 a year.
Another reason to take advantage of that contract and add to the team right now, but
he's also pre-arb till 2027. After 2027, so
that's when he'll start making more after the arbitration.
I think that it just adds more fuel to the fire. Why people are generally upset about this offseason and about the lineup right now is you're paying possibly the best pitcher ever. I mean, dare I say, at least on planet Earth right now.
Yeah,
the bare minimum. So you have money to toss around.
Yep, absolutely. More than $4 million on a single year contract. But
is that a shot?
No. Say la vie, as they say. All right. Any more questions?
So, Skeens is under control. So you're saying for the next 5 years.
Yep.
What's the rotation looking like?
I mean, I think the rotation's at least
in 5 years or right now.
What's the future of the rotation?
It's Skeens, Bubba, Jared Jones. Hopefully the top 3,
and then Mitch will be in there because Mitch is under contract.
And I think Thomas Harrington's a really solid back end guy.
Well, yeah, I think Thomas Harrington didn't really get a fair look given the circumstances earlier in the year, but a name to look out for if you were going to talk keeping a lefty in the rotation, because that's all righties, which I don't mind because you get different looks out of the pen. But Hunter Barco has been unreal. This is an SEC arm out of Florida, has struggled with injuries in the past couple of years. Didn't pitch in the fall league. They shut him down last year. I don't think he has an earned run.
He doesn't. In 17 or 18 innings pitched this year. This is a guy who also has added a few ticks to the fastball since getting drafted. I think by midseason, I said this on the pod, that he's going to be a top 50 prospect in all of baseball. I mean, he's pitching that well right now to start the season. So I think when you get that first call up from Bubba, I think you're going to see him in Indianapolis. You're going to see him in Indianapolis at some point this year anyway. But he's definitely a name to watch too. So they got some arms to deal eventually. You don't want to deal from too much depth, but you got some guys to maybe go acquire a bat with.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the depth real quick because everybody was talking about dealing from that last year to bring in bats. And then you saw what happened as we got into the season. Jones dropped off. Oviedo's gone. There's always going to be injuries with pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep it something. If that's a strength, you don't want to make it a weakness per se.
Absolutely.
But I would say Skeens, Chandler. This guy's been trying to parallel park in front of us for about 10 minutes.
Really
now.
Been distracting me with like the worst parallel park job I've ever seen.
It's a pretty big.
He just
space.
gave up.
He gave up. He left and almost hit a car. I would say Skeens, Bubba, Jones, Keller, and then some variation of Harrington, Barco. You have a lot of arms. Solometo hasn't gotten off to a bad start. I believe he's on the IL right now. Should be a short stint, but there's a lot of arms all the way to the complex. Xander Meath is another one that I'm really excited about down the road. So I think in terms of arms, the Pirates are pretty set for the next couple years at least. I would bet you'll probably see Hunter Barco next year for sure.
For sure. He might be a September call-up guy, but next year for sure. Do we have another question, or do we want to get into the game?
No more live questions right now.
Okay.
You guys want to keep recapping the game, but I also have a list of questions that you all asked on Twitter a couple days ago. So you want some of these ones?
Absolutely.
This was from the other day, but I want to talk about this. Where in the world is Matt Gorski? We know where he is.
Oh, that's a good question. I think that was from Coach Nez, right?
Sure was.
Fan of the pod. Shout out Coach Nez. But yeah, Matt Gorski's here. First major league at bat, home run. 87 mile-an-hour fastball from Tyler Anderson, former Bucco, up in the zone, turned on it. So, he's here, and I'm excited to see some more bats from him.
I think it's somebody who I don't know if he's here to stay necessarily throughout the entire season. That's going to rely on a couple of factors, but versatility. he offers. You saw in his debut, he played first base. I know he made an error, but he gives you the option to play first base. He can play a pretty solid outfield. He can run, so he can take it back. He's pretty fast for a big guy. I mean, he's a large man. He hit that ball 434 feet, 115 miles per hour. That's one of the hardest hit balls in all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
All year. So he adds that component to the game that the Pirates that desperately need. We're not winning death by paper cut, single, which they've been doing a little bit better of a job slugging recently, but it's just another guy that can put the ball over the fence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a guy that can play outfield and first base, sort of like Billy Cook, but he has a little bit more power than Billy. And, he provides that defensive versatility, which I'm excited to see him in the lineup more, like I said. But yeah, Gorski's here.
Well, the one thing I do like, I would say it's now or never. He's 27 years old.
Yeah.
So this is not a Nick York who's still, 22? Billy Cook's 25, 24, I believe.
Yep.
So we're getting to the end of the road here in terms of figuring out what Matt Gorski does best for this team. So I agree. Like, you need hitting right now. This is one of the few bats you have at the upper levels. So let's try it out now. If it doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen? You don't hit?
Absolutely. And then you got Billy Cook behind him. We can bring Billy Cook up. But I think we have a question, right?
Yeah, we have our first live questions, first ever live questions here on the street. So we got 2 questions here. Friends of the pod, introduce yourselves and ask your question.
My name is Michael. I'm a longtime Pirates fan.
There we go. All right, cool.
I have a big time question for you guys.
All right.
Do you think the Pirates could potentially trade for anyone worthwhile this season to potentially change the trajectory of their season? I mean, maybe a wild card spot. Who knows?
That would be the hope, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna obviously depends if they're winning. As of late, they've looked good. And I don't know if I was talking about this with Deebs last night or maybe you. I think one of those lefty arms, if they stay healthy and falter, Haney's on a 1-year deal, could potentially yield a major league bat if they continue to pitch that the way that they are right now. So I would say possibly, yeah, like they could bring maybe
Brian De La Cruz,
another BDLC in. No, I think like you could bring in a solid outfield bat to help this team if they're maybe third in the Central going forward. I think it's going to have to be an arm that's dealt. Like, you really don't have any other options.
I mean, right now, Haney's pitching like Koufax and Kershaw combined, so you might as well take advantage of that. But no, elite. I don't think he's able to be traded until June 15th.
Right. He can't be traded till
which is
mid-June, anyways.
Which would
be around the time
you would
start considering.
Yeah. So yeah, I would absolutely be navigating the market for bats to add to the lineup because they have a plethora of arms, but they don't have a plethora of bats at the upper level, at the major league level.
I also think they could do a bit of both. I think they could be buyers and sellers as long as they're hovering around 500.
Okay.
Because if they dip a little bit below that, then I think it's let's get rid of the guys with 1-year contracts and just see what we can get in return. Kind of like what they did with Carlos Santana.
Yeah. Johnny Severino.
Yeah, exactly. You get a young prospect, just keep building, just keep pushing it off a little bit. But I mean, what are you gonna do with a 1-year guy? You're not gonna re-sign him unless his name's Andrew McCutcheon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For $5 million.
Right.
Sources, they're gonna re-sign him next year for 1 year, $5 million. I've been told. But one more name I want to bring up. Luis Robert was a name that I was pondering at the beginning of the season because I was like, he's got 2 years left on his contract with the White Sox, and he's been in trade discussions for a while, or his name has been brought up. He's gone off to a really slow start with Chicago, and I don't know if I'd give up. Maybe if they're willing to, I don't think they're going to be selling low on Luis Robert. They probably want to get as much of a return as they possibly can on him. But he was a guy I brought up initially. I'm starting to cool on that take, and maybe a corner outfielder for sure, or just a guy with versatility. They have a lot of these guys that can play all over the infield, all over the outfield. But a guy that's going to get on base a lot, maybe hit for a higher average. Maybe we need a guy with some pop in this lineup. We don't slug a ton, so I think there are definitely going to be options out there. But yeah.
Well, you think the White Sox waited too long?
Yeah.
I think they were a little stingy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like the situation with Bednar a couple of years ago when we were saying, like, listen, you could probably get the highest yield right now for an all-star David Bednar, and then you waited too long. And as you know, like closers you could find, like there's probably a couple guys on this team that can close right now.
Dennis Santana, we've seen it. We've seen guys that have been able to step into that role. So
yeah, absolutely.
Wait,
we got a couple.
Mr. Michael, come here.
Yeah, we got a
Free
couple more
coffee.
live questions here. Remember, if you stop down ask a live question.
Who we got?
Get a little free drink here.
Who
We
we
got
got
another friend of the pod, another live question here.
All right, hey guys, it's Zach. I'm sure you guys know me from
You
a few
look familiar.
questions. Yeah, a little bit. But going off Michael's question, you guys said it could be a wild card spot. But when do you guys expect, given the structure of this team, given the prospects in the pipeline, such as potentially ace in the pipeline, Bubba Chandler, some other prospects in the pipeline, when do you expect this team to be fully committed to winning a division title and really competing for your potential pennant?
Oh wow.
I think short answer, they should be committed now.
Yeah.
Like you have Paul Skeens. Anytime you have Paul Skeens on your roster, you should be fully committed now. I think if you want to talk about like the maturation of the guys that you have right now that are expected to be called up fairly soon, Bubba Chandler, Mike Burrows is up right now. Braxton Ashcraft is another guy that could help potentially in the pen, maybe even as a starter. And then, I mean, Tamar Johnson's a bit of ways, but I would say if they're going to fully commit and the Pirates totally flip the way they do things, which I mean, like is a hard, it's a tough bargain, but maybe I would say next year, like you have a full year of Bubba Chandler. Hopefully Jared Jones is healthy. Your rotation's set. You add a couple more bats. This lineup could be much better.
I'm just going to be short. Like it should be now. It should be now. This is year 6 of the rebuild. It should be now. But yeah, it's looking more like 2026, hopefully, because we said in the fall that this should have been the most important offseason for the Pirates, and they didn't really do much. So maybe it's 2026, but again, should be now.
Great. Free coffee.
We have another, we're drawing quite a crowd here. We have another live question here. Introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hey guys, my name's Adam.
Adam. Also Adam.
Adam. Wow, sorry, brother. But, so I had a couple friends who were standing in line on Paul Skeens bobblehead day. They ended up with a bobblehead, and then they were disappointed whenever the Pirates made the announcement that everyone is getting one. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts on that. Was that good by nutting, bad by nutting? Because I have my own thoughts, but I want to hear it from you first.
Yeah. Want me to go first? Or? I think I'll dance around this a little bit. I think with everything that's happened recently with the Bucco bricks, the Clemente wall, they needed one PR win. And I think this was the way to do it because the line was going all the way downtown. Like it was crazy. We were at the field at 11 a.m. that day, and there was people sitting outside to get one. I understand like first 20,000 is usually pretty standard, and that adds value to the bobblehead if it's limited. But still, I mean, you're adding what, 12 more thousand bobbleheads, and everybody gets one. Everybody's happy. We should all enjoy Paul Skeens right now, and if that's going to bring people to the ballpark and keep people coming, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same answer. Like it was a no-brainer. I mean, it had to be done, but at the same time, like rather than a bobblehead, I'd rather see a better product on the field. Long story short, but again, it was a necessary PR move. He did what he had to do. Now, hopefully, there's more coming.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who, oh, hey, this is going to be rare. It's not rare anymore. And a lot of people were there getting their bobblehead and leaving anyway. So screw those people.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw a guy come in. He collected like 20 standing room tickets and then got 20 bobbleheads and then dipped out. They were on eBay before they were even giving them out.
Yeah, people were selling them.
So I know my sister's boyfriend threw it up on eBay as kind of like a joke. Like, this is no way it's going to sell, and somebody paid $150 for it. So it's just like, all right, I'll take $150 for this weird looking bobblehead.
They also announced before the game that 3 of them were signed, I think, and they put them in random boxes. So, I mean, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. PR win, man.
And then they also, I think they hid some downtown, or they did like a hunt, Easter egg hunt, or a bobblehead hunt, if you will. But necessary move, obviously.
Gotta start somewhere, nutting.
Exactly. 100%.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Adam. Thank you.
Got another one in the chat here, and this is he's become one of our favorite players this season. What do we do with Manny Valdez when this team gets healthy?
I'll let him
The
take
great
this.
Bambino. I don't know. Like, if you go to his baseball savant page, like the peripherals look really good. He's hitting the ball hard. I had low expectations for him, and he's exceeded them. I don't think this is a decision that you necessarily have to make right now. You let it play out and see what happens. Make the decision that's best for the team, obviously. Whether that's, if Nick York starts performing, I obviously would love to see Nick York up at the big league level. But he provides the ability to play first base, second base, third base, all over the place. Kind of like him more than Frazier at this juncture, to be honest with you. He provides a little bit more power, younger. Everything I've heard
this
about.
is Adam Frazier erasure here. He's
Yeah,
got on a 9
sorry.
game hitting streak.
I know. I know. Sorry. But yeah, I like Manny Valdez. Everything I've heard about him too, like he's like a great dude too.
Yeah, 88th percentile in walk rate. Okay. 78th percentile in
I
K
see a
rate.
lot of red on that Savant page.
It's all blood, man. It's all blood. The expected batting average is 297. So you talk about unlucky hitters. He's hitting the ball so hard. He's hitting the sweet spot in the 94th percentile. He's pretty much barreling everything. He's just getting extremely
Was he acquired
unlucky.
via trade? Was it like
From the Red Sox? Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget
Him and-
who it was for.
Hey, him and Chase Shugart. Hold on, wind's picking up here a little bit.
Got free
but-
coffee flyers going all over the place.
Yeah, him and Chase Shugart both acquired from the Red Sox. I know Chase gave up a home run the other night, but he has really impressed me too as a guy that has come in and provided some quality innings out of the pen. So, yeah, I don't think you have to make that decision right now with Manny. Like it's like
I think you should keep him in the lineup.
Keep him in the lineup. Let it play out. He's the least of your problems right now.
Yeah, 100% agree. And then you just deal with that later. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
You got anything else for us?
No other comments in the chat right now. No more live, but I have a couple from the other day here. Let's see here. Well, again, these were asked the other day, but I think we have some answers here, right? How long is Canario and or Sawinski on this team before we recall Cook and or York? It's time.
Well, none of that happened, and they optioned Sawinski.
Yeah, this question was from last week, right?
Yeah.
Canario, like he's a guy that doesn't have an option left, so they're going to get as much out of him until they need to use that roster space for someone else. If he doesn't start picking it up here over the next couple of weeks, I don't think we're going to see him much longer. So, again, he was a guy that Shelton brought in for a pinch hit opportunity at the end of the game when Skeens pitched last week at home, when you had Kutch, Bart, and IKF on the bench, and I know they like his ability to potentially slug, but he hasn't done it yet. Hopefully, we get that bat picks up now too, along with the other ones.
Keyword potential.
Yeah,
right?
potential.
I don't think he's not really running through any walls on defense.
He was originally he was acquired by the Cubs in the Chris Bryant trade to the San Francisco, I think. It was Caleb Killian and Canario, who both I don't believe are with the Cubs anymore. So I don't know if anyone won that trade, to be honest with you. But yeah, Canario, he's not even playing much. What is he playing 2 times a week, if that? So
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think it's anything.
And Sawinski homered yesterday, by the way. First game in AAA. So
Bring him back up. He's
Bring him
ready.
back
Dude.
up.
He learned his lesson. Let's talk about last night.
Yeah.
Real quick. One, I'm tired. I am so ready for them to come back to the East Coast. See, a 10-10 start time. Yeah.
Real quick, we just got a groundbreaking comment in from North Shore 9. Scott's gonna love this one.
Okay.
Just a quick one here. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Shout out to Newcastle.
let's go.
Can you
Donardo.
guess which NS9 member?
Mr. Donardo. Shout out Newcastle. Great place to grow up. Not the best place to live, but builds character, as they say.
Yeah, let's shout out NS9, shout out Newcastle.
Hell yeah.
But let's get back to talking about this umpire from last night. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, we could start on that. It was so inconsistent, man. I mean, he was giving Skeens definitely some calls off the plate. He gave Yamamoto some stuff, but it was all over the plate for what could potentially be the best pitching matchup of all year. It might not even be close. Got to have someone that's a little bit more locked in than that.
Just my 2 cents here. Watching the first inning was missed strike call, balls called strikes, and also Hank Davis being unable to throw the ball
Rube
back
Baker.
to Paul Skeens.
Rube Baker.
What happened with that?
The first inning was
Dodger Stadium jitters. I don't know. It was another game with the 2 number 1 overall picks as the battery.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize that was the first time ever in MLB history, not last night's game, but the previous game that they played together, that had happened. But yeah, Skeens, 18, 19 whiffs last night?
I think 18 whiffs.
Not Heaney's 24, but it did the job.
I'm trying to look up the umpire scorecard, Deebs, because I am very curious as what it was, because it was pretty brutal.
his
Let's see.
misses weren't consistent either.
And Yamamoto, now I fell asleep early. Sorry guys. These West Coast games kicked my ass, but Yamamoto had a career high 5 walks, and this is a guy who has elite command. But did you guys notice, was he getting pinched too, or?
A little bit. I mean, his misses were definitely a little bit more clear, and the Pirates were having good at bats.
Yeah,
like there's some 2-out hitting, working deep into counts. Like they gave him a run for his money, like which I did not expect at all. I think I don't know what the line on the game last night was, but it's almost certainly the Dodgers with their lineup. And I mean, Yamamoto had a sub-1 ERA going into last night, so I'm happy with what they did. They seem to play the Dodgers well.
Yeah, they
all
really
the time.
do.
I think Kutch said it last year, how this team is close, and you look at games where they play the Dodgers and they play the Yankees, and they always do it fairly well. So it's like, hey, maybe we're there, or is this kind of like Browns coming to Pittsburgh and you think they're going to dominate, and then they fall asleep at the wheel? I don't know.
It's always fun going and playing your little brother, you know. That's how it feels when we play the Dodgers. I don't quite get it, but yeah.
It was electric though, watching that game with Skeens and Yamamoto. Skeens was back to full form. I know he's been pretty
And his
unreal.
bad games are like,
Not his bad games are still like quality starts at the time, giving up 2 runs, which no starting pitcher should be worried about giving 2 runs. But 9 Ks last night?
Yep.
18 whiffs. It was
the first time he hit his over on Ks for the season.
Yeah, big time strikeouts. The ball was moving a ton.
Oh, that slider that he got, was it a splinker or a slider that he got Ohtani on in the
I think
inside?
Yeah,
it was.
I think it might have been a slider on Edmund back door.
Edmund and Ohtani.
Absolutely disgusting. And for once, like they got ahead for him, and that's what happens when you get ahead for a guy like that. I mean, speak to it, Scott. You were a pitcher. When you get up to a 1-0 start or a 2-0 start early in the game, that gives you a little bit more confidence to stay ahead.
Absolutely. I feel like you feel much more confident as a pitcher and comfortable.
You don't have to do everything yourself.
Yeah, that you can like kind of relax a little bit on the mound, especially like on a team and against an offense like the Dodgers. I feel like any lead gives you a little bit of comfort up there. Not that Skeens necessarily needs comfort. I feel like he pitches with a bulldog mentality, but he looked really good last night. And 5 hits total? So
yeah,
really solid outing.
Yeah, they played pretty well behind him. I think there was one error with Reynolds in the playing a ball in the corner that turned into a Freddie Freeman triple. But even with nobody out, guy on third, he got out of it. So really electric. The guys are hitting the ball hard too. I like what I've seen out of Hayes recently in terms of just like, I mean, he's always been known to hit the ball hard. Yeah. Maybe some worm killers hitting the ball into the ground a little bit too often, but overall pretty solid. And then Cruz in the leadoff spot has been
slam dunk.
Amazing.
Like it's a slam dunk. And I love that they're keeping that top 3 the same over the past week. I like that there's some consistency in the lineup right now. It varies a little bit at the bottom half, obviously, but I think when we get Horwitz back, that might change a little bit. I can see Horwitz slotting into that 5 spot or
yeah. It's a guy that's known to get on base and slug. I don't know if that. I think I just keep Cruz in the 1 spot the rest of the year because he's taking bags.
Now, let me ask you that: if he's getting the day off, who do you want to slide into that top spot? Are you putting Key back up there?
Yeah, I mean,
in the leadoff spot.
I think there's been 8 or 9 different leadoff hitters, all year. I don't know. I think you could experiment with a lot of guys. I think Key's not a bad option. He's probably not my top one. I think Manny is not a terrible option. Right. He's has a pretty good look at the plate, good discipline, hits the ball hard. I think when Cruz is not there and he's having a day off, I think that's when you play the matchups. But until then, you just got to stick with it. And they've done a good job. Well, I won't say good job, but as of recent, the lineup's been a little bit more consistent maybe the past couple of days. So not bad.
I will say this too. Renegades of the Rotunda, Chris predicted 285 stolen bases for O'Neal Cruz this year. I'm kind of liking that bet right now.
Hasn't been caught stealing in a long time. Was it 30 to 32 last attempt?
Something like that. I think he's got 11, 12 now.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're talking like if,
On pace for 285.
on pace for 285. Is this the breakout year for Cruz? I mean, like I think people gave him not a fair shake because he came up his debut year, didn't get much time. The next year, broke his ankle.
Yep.
And then last year was his first full year
Had some
of Major League
streakiness.
Baseball, and people are all over the guy like he's been a 10-year vet.
Yeah.
There's definitely still a learning curve, and it doesn't help that now he's learning an entirely new position. We're talking about what should be a perennial all-star.
Yeah.
And I think he's showing that on the offensive side of things, from the power perspective, being able to take bags. I mean, potentially 60 this year.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I think 30-40 is very much so like
Yeah.
a possibility. And you know, he's playing like an all-star right now.
Well,
Got
he's playing half like
Like an all-star. Yeah. But definitely need that bat in the lineup right now. Hopefully the defense gets better as the season goes on. Can't get any worse.
I think it has over the past couple of weeks has been a little bit better. In terms of, well, like as of late, Tommy Pham's been unreal in left field.
6 defensive runs saved.
We might lose him for a game, which is a big problem.
What, you can't say hello to the crowd anymore?
Yeah,
Like,
I
what
don't
is
get
this?
what that is, dude.
Tight
He's
ship
just
that they're
waving to
running
the
there.
crowd. We're talking about fan interaction. We're big fans of fan interaction.
Yeah.
We're always doing it all the time. And God forbid you give a little bit of a wave and you're sent on your way.
In all seriousness, that fan that touched Tommy Pham, balls.
He must not watch baseball.
Yeah, for sure. Over there, and
You shouldn't do that to begin with. PSA, don't touch the players on the field.
especially Tommy Pham.
But if just your heart so desires to go out and reach and just rub a player's back like that man did, don't make it that gentleman.
He trains in the off season.
He does train in the
prepared.
offseason. You got something for us?
You brought up stealing manufacturing runs. It made me think of a situation that happened last night. So this is just a question from yours truly. There's a situation last night. Adam Frazier's on first base, 1 out. Hank Davis up to bat. He was batting 9th. Order's going to turn over, and O'Neal Cruz will be up. Frazier gets caught stealing second. So what's your take on that? What's your take on manufacturing runs? What's your take on the rest of the team doing that besides Cruz, who's never getting caught all season?
I think there's a fine line, right? And I'll let you jump in here as a former position player. But, there's a fine line between manufacturing runs and situational hitting and running into outs. Like, I don't want to run into an out with O'Neal Cruz on the on-deck circle.
Yeah, I think getting runners on base is at a premium right now. And if you're about to turn over the order, Frazier's not your best base stealer on the team. I know Hank, you probably don't have much confidence in Hank to move him over at that point. But yeah, I do have more confidence in turning over the order, potentially with 2 outs with a guy on and Cruz being up and be able to strike the ball pretty hard to get that guy in. So I think you stay aggressive. You keep doing what you're doing, but it's got to be a little bit more controlled.
I would agree.
So no more live questions right now. I have a little bit of a change of pace here. There's a question from the other day that's about the ballpark. Somebody said, how is sitting in the outfield? He's going to move to Pittsburgh soon.
Okay.
Wondering about the seating. So let's get the take on Shore sitting in the outfield, but let's get the little play-by-play of the spots to sit around PNC.
Okay, so I think if you're going to PNC for the first time, I think the move is something along the third baseline, closer to home plate. If it's the summer and it's like a 4:00 game, or if it's an early game, the sun will beat down on you if you're sitting over there. You will get the best view of the city, but the sun will brutalize you. Okay,
Agreed.
so just be prepared for that. I think generally speaking, that's third base side is a classic. Behind home plate, you really can't get a bad seat in the park. Even up, if you're going up, you get a beautiful view of the city, the rivers, the bridges, everything like that. In terms of outfield, I mean, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think the outfield's a great spot, man. I love being out in center field. I think you get a good view from like the center field perspective, even left field by the underneath the bleachers. I think that's a good spot too. But I think the most underrated spot is the Rotunda.
Yes.
Love going up on the Rotunda. Obviously Chris and the Renegades are up there, and
I don't want to get too busy up there. Keep a little bit.
Yeah, we got to gatekeep that. So I'll leave it at that. I think it's an underrated spot, but yeah, I like the outfield, especially like with what we're doing with the fan interaction. You got a lot of opportunity to give away stuff out there and interact with mostly the younger crowd. But it's a good
party.
spot.
It's a party
There's
at
not
night.
a bad spot in the stadium, in my opinion, to watch the game.
No, I agree with that. Even the Clemente wall is interesting. You're not getting the view of the city, but the way that it's structured, you're kind of like on top of the field there, and you're pretty close. So if you're coming for the first time and it's like you're visiting and you're not going to be going often, I think take advantage of getting the best view possible on the third base side. But if not, move around. I mean, we don't have a seat.
Yeah.
We use the ballpark pass, and we're usually just walking around and standing most of the game anyways. I have yet to find a bad place to stand. Even if you're walking around the concourse, you can see the game. And we've been to a healthy amount of stadiums. That's not the case almost anywhere.
No, there's parts of there's concourses at other stadiums where you like legitimately can't see the field. And I think they're pretty much everywhere at PNC Park, especially on the first level. You can see the whole entire field, and there's a good view. So, yeah, that PNC sticks out in that way. I think
100%.
Take a couple more from the from Twitter here, but if you're watching the stream, toss some questions in the chat here. Well, whatever you're asking. Let's talk about first base. What are we thinking about first base as the season moves on here? We know Horowitz we saw him taking BP the other day. He's rounded into shape here. What do we think about first base throughout the rest of the season?
I mean, it's just plug and play right now until Horowitz gets back. I think I like that Gorski provides you the option to be a right-handed first baseman. He's a bat that could platoon with Spencer Horowitz when he comes up. I'd like to see Spencer Horowitz play most days, but we'll see what he does against lefties. I think it's just plug and play. Emmanuel Valdez, Jared Trillo. You got a lot of guys that can play first base. That's not a problem. And defensively, it hasn't been bad, I would say.
Yeah, not terrible, but I agree with. I think it's going to take Horowitz a minute to get going. He's basically doing his spring training right now, getting live at bats down in the complex, and then he's going to have to work through some kinks in the swing in order to get back to a major league ready level. But I don't know if you're going to need to platoon him that much. If his minor league numbers were not bad against lefties, and I know the major league sample size is not great, and his splits are bad at the major league level, but also, again, the sample size is not big.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you need to give him time to prove himself that he can't hit in those positions, because this is somebody you have for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you're just automatically going to platoon him, then you're just saying, hey, we never want you to get these looks versus a lefty. And then guess what? Then you're putting yourself in a position for the next.
Penn Ave, baby, on a Saturday morning.
Little biker gang action.
Yeah,
You're
but
putting
same thing with O'Neill Cruz last year when I think there was a lot of frustration when he was getting sat against lefties, and Shelty was platooning him a lot, or batting him down in the order even against lefties. We saw, in fact, he can hit lefties when he got more at bat. So I hope that's the case with Spencer Horowitz, and I'm excited to see him back. He's down Bradenton right now, taking live at bats. He was facing Dari Moretta. Almost forget about him.
Yeah.
So some reinforcements are on the way too.
Triolo can play first base. You got utility guys all around the infield. So you have 3 guys right now that you could rotate between in Triolo, Manny, Gorski, as long as he's up. So I think that position, I'm actually pretty fine with it right now. I'm not like screaming from the top of the mountains like I usually am about first base.
It's safe to say that Reynolds to first base dream is about dead, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, 100%. Maybe Kutch will go over there.
He did grab a glove in Tampa a couple weeks ago. So.
Got another one from Twitter that I think is pretty timely. How do you feel about important players in the lineup, Kutch, Cruz, getting kind of quote unquote days off in important games? And how much do you value consistency in the lineup? We've been seeing that more lately. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think consistency is key. It's more of a philosophical thing, I think, with Shelton playing the matchups. And we've mentioned it a billion times, like he's not given the best roster.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do with the pieces that he's given? That being said, I think guys do benefit from going to the park every day and seeing a spot that they've been in for the past couple of days or a week, or knowing where they're hitting in an order. Just getting comfortable. Hitting's hard enough, and moving from the one spot down to the sixth spot or in the middle of the order, just not playing at all multiple days in a row, that can mess with you as a hitter big time.
Yeah, I think you'd hear a mixed bag when asking hitters if they like to be in the same spot. I think some guys do like that consistency. Some guys, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, in terms of the days off, like, hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a 162 game season. Guys are going to get days off. I think what I'd like to see more is them prioritize having those vets in the lineup with Skeens on the mound.
Yes, that's
like
where the issue comes into play.
That's where I have an issue. And then when you have a pinch hit opportunity at the end of the game, and you're not using those three guys that you had on the bench that day, and they're all available for maybe a key at bat to put the team ahead or keep the lead. So that's where I have an issue. But it's inevitable. Guys are going to get days off, and it's just a matter of when and how we allocate those days off.
Yeah, I just don't think the mixing and matching and playing matchups right now is best for this team, given the talent. If you had a bunch of guys that you could play with that play at a high level and you can do that, fine. But if you look at the best teams in the league, there's usually some consistency. Now, I know they spend money and they have a lot better players, but I think right now with what you're giving, you just stick with your guys in your lineup, which is always Cruz, Reynolds, Kutch, Bart,
Yep.
for the most part. You keep Key in there, obviously, and you just roll with that, man.
Manny Valdez.
And Manny Valdez hitting the ball hard. So, yeah, I think you value consistency. What do you got there?
We just got some unreleased merch here. We're debuting this on the pod right here. We got some hats from Allegheny Coffee and Tea, 3 of them here. Let's toss one of those bad boys on the table, or just toss them on there. Plug that real quick. It's okay. That one can be mine.
Are these for us?
They're for us. These are for us.
Awesome. So
Unreleased.
again, if you're just tuning in and you're in the Pittsburgh area, we're at Allegheny Coffee and Tea, best coffee supply in Pittsburgh. Got some hats here. They also, not only can you get coffee here, if you grind up your own beans at home or you like specialty coffee, they have all the options.
Any flavor imaginable, you go in there, they have a barrel.
Yeah,
So
100%. You could also get tea, of course, it's in the name. Merch, candles too. They got custom candles that are unreal. And they come in like a big coffee mug, campfire mug.
you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, one of the best shows. Making a reference here. Larry was on a mission to find the best beans. Remember this for Latte Larry's? Well, look no further, Larry, because they're right here. The best beans are at Allegheny Coffee and Tea.
Absolutely. Not too late. We got about 15, 20 more minutes here to stop in to get a free coffee, ask a question. But what do we got, Deeps?
Yeah, so real quick, just again, huge shout out Allegheny Coffee and Tea. We've got the unreleased merch here. We're going to be proudly rocking that around town here. We have an extra special question coming in here from friend of the pod, Patty Gyron,
Oh, let's go.
saying, should McCutchen start more games? Should McCutchen be playing more? You're just talking about getting the veterans in the lineups. Should McCutchen be playing more games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he has been recently playing more games. Where it got tricky was when Reynolds had that tricep issue and they had to DH him. And I don't think Kutch wants to play I don't want to speak for Kutch, but I know Kutch wants to DH.
Yeah.
And he was our best outfielder defensively.
Yeah, you got to remind him. He's still got that gold glove,
He's
man.
got that gold glove, and I think they could have used him in the field more than they were. There was a period where he sat 3 days in a row,
That's unacceptable.
and
Can't
like
have
that
yeah.
that just can't happen. So yeah, absolutely. I think Kutch should be a consistent staple in this lineup.
I think the frustration showed when he was benched for
Yeah.
3 days in a row. I mean, he just absolutely put Noah Hiles in a body bag, right? Just destroyed Noah online, just ruined everything. I mean, just put him away.
More of a
But
body bag than those chickens in Miami did, huh?
yeah, just destroyed him. But no, all jokes aside, I think Kutches would probably tell you it's either this year or next where it's done for him.
Yeah.
And I don't think he could play the field every single day. I don't think he wants to play the field every single day, but you have to find a way to put him in the lineup. So most of the time that's going to be DH. But if he's not going to DH, throw him out in right field once a week.
I don't think, once a week, even maybe, if you have an instance where Reynolds is hurt or someone needs a day off, like twice a week, I don't think that hurts to see him in right field. He did a really good job compared to the rest of our outfield defensively. And we need that bat in there consistently. We saw when the bat wasn't in there consistently, he had a little bit of a cold streak there where the average went down. But I think, long story short, he needs to be in the lineup most days. And I think he could play the field more than he is.
Yeah. Good question.
Great question. Just back to a quick anecdote here. Back to the Twitter exchange between Noah and Mr. McCutcheon. I was just scrolling through Instagram.
Not really an exchange.
No. It wasn't an exchange. It was more of a zipping up. I was just going through Instagram. I saw maybe future friend of the pod, MLB Hall of Good. I don't know if you guys follow. He had posted that, and I didn't know about the Twitter exchange. And I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I see this post of Kutch commenting on that. Love that. That all got sorted out. Kutch has been huge for us lately. Keep him in there. Thank you, Patty. Great question.
Any more live questions?
No more live questions currently. We got a couple more from Twitter that we can talk about. You guys want a serious question, or you guys want a little bit more of a jovial one here? You guys have, if you get the fun one, you have to guess who asked it. Okay?
Go for it.
Give you a question, you guess who asked it, and then you have to answer it seriously.
Okay.
Where does John Jaso fit on this roster?
Okay, that's Chris Miller.
Wow. Who is that? Is that Chris? You sure?
Where does John Jaso? I have to answer it seriously.
He asked it seriously.
Okay. He's everyday first baseman, obviously. He's the last player to hit for a cycle at PNC Park, or the
Right.
only player, right?
I think
He was the first. I
I
don't
don't
know
know if he's the only.
I don't know if
he's the
anyone's done it
first.
since 2016, but
All right, all jokes aside, we're the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you're looking to bring some more spark to this team, bring in the guy that looks like a literal pirate. Okay.
Sean
Sean Rodriguez was another one with the ponytail, man. We need more guys that can
Dallas
just
Braden.
Dallas Braden, bring him out of retirement. John Jaso deserves at least a front office job here. And he doesn't have to do anything. He just needs to be
He could
the spokesman.
He could literally live on a boat on the
I think he
Allegheny.
actually does live on a boat right now.
Oh, no doubt. But take that boat and put it on the Gainey.
Yeah, just have John Jaso floating around. Yeah. So yeah, front office job, John Jaso.
We got another. We're gonna keep it light here. Repeat asker here. We got another fun question.
What do you think of Skeens' suits before every game?
Suits.
Yeah, like he dressed up in the powder blue last night.
I like it.
Absolutely dominated the Dodgers.
Yeah, he did. Again, in the powder blue. That was a kind of a power move, right? I like that. Did you see a suit last night?
No, I didn't see it, but I know he always wears suits
We'll
to
pull it up
games.
here. I'll pull it up and show you. But yeah, I was a fan of the one last night. Kind of a power move. Here we go.
Oh,
Is it Dave? Yeah.
that's spiffy.
There we go. Okay.
Dodgers fans probably look at
With
that.
the
they're
brown
like, oh,
shoes?
he's sending us a message for the next
Yeah.
5 years. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the suit. Come ready for business. Take care of business. Love it.
Play good. Dress good. Look good. Play good.
Dress good.
Do
Feel
something
good.
like
You
that.
feel good. You play good. You play good. They pay good.
Yeah, something like that.
I think he's getting paid good no matter what he's wearing.
You want to talk about the game a little bit more?
Yeah.
And then we got tonight's game against Roki Sasaki. Obviously, they won 3-0 last night.
Who was apparently going to go to a small market, but he ended in LA. Whatever.
Ridiculous. What do you expect to see against Roki tonight? Because this is a guy, a little bit of a slow start. We've seen some flashes from the pan. Was it the split that he throws?
The split, and he's still developing a feel for the breaking ball. I think he's shown flashes, but yeah, I think you gotta. He struggled. He's young still.
Yeah.
He's young still. He struggled in his first couple starts. I think maybe be patient with him.
Right.
And you take your walks. Andy Haynes is smiling somewhere right now. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough matchup regardless. This whole weekend's going to be a tough matchup. Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow. Got to stay hot.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't expect to see more than 5 innings.
Yeah, probably.
No matter what the situation.
They've got him
is.
on an inning limit, I think.
Yeah,
So,
he's got some shoulder issues, but it's going to be you're going through the gauntlet here of the top of the Dodgers rotation. So they took care of Yamamoto last night, which is arguably the best one.
yeah.
Glasnow can give you some trouble, but we're at Glasnow's debut, by the way, here.
I don't think I was. I was at Garrett Cole's against the Giants.
Yeah, the Glasnow debut is maybe one of the worst baseball games I've ever seen
Yeah.
my entire life. It was bad.
We got another live question from Adam.
Adam, I'm back.
Adam.
All
all right.
Adam.
So love baseball, not as pure as you guys. I'm sure you're in there, but so my question: the 162 game season. What are your thoughts on that? If they did shorten it, create a little bit more urgency, would that improve it? Get more younger fans? What are your thoughts there?
I want to take that real quick. I'll start that off. I'm a traditionalist. I don't want to shorten the season. I'd add games actually. I'm kidding. That's a joke, slightly. Yeah, no, I like small ball. I like the full season. I want 162 games. I understand the average fan probably doesn't want that. Doesn't have the attention span for that. This generation, my God. But yeah, no. I don't know. I think like you could slowly go down. In all seriousness, like to 150, maybe 145, but I wouldn't go like that far in shortening the season.
Yeah, I think baseball is one of the only sports where you need a great sample size, right? Because there's guys like
Well, look at
like,
the COVID season.
Yeah, exactly.
He had 60 games, I
Right,
think.
but there's guys like Brian Reynolds who's hitting what, like 250 right now, but was hitting what 210, 220 to start the year. And if you don't get that time to get going, you need baseball's hard. Hitting a baseball is hard. Making that shorter is just gonna make it even harder. So I don't know. I think you need more at bats.
I want to interrupt just to say we saw someone else attempt to parallel park right here, and it was again a failure, and they gave up after 2 tries. So
Yeah, that's a big spot.
I'll turn the camera around. We could.
It's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
But no, good question. Good question. I'm anti shortening the season, but
What about you? You want a longer season, shorter season?
Same with basketball and hockey as well. Like especially basketball, guys are sitting out. Most stars are only playing 70.
load management.
If you make that better, now the regular season's better. You don't have people worried saying, I went to this game and stars sat out. These guys aren't getting back on defense. So it just creates urgency to, for that seeding. Guys can toss a night in the NBA and not care. But if it's down to 70 games, that game becomes so much more important. You have time to make it up.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely getaway days where you're just trotting out a nothing lineup.
Yeah. Oh, I love those getaway lineups.
Brutal, dude.
So on that just reminded me, how do you feel about, so the NBA implemented, you have to play a certain number of games to be eligible for awards, right? I think it's 65 games in the NBA to be eligible for any of the season-long awards. MVP, most improved, sixth man, defensive player of the year, right? 65
That really
games.
impacted that fraud in Philly, Joel Embiid.
Do you think that would improve? We were also talking last night about Freddie Freeman, Iron Man. He's playing 140, 150 plus in like 80% of the seasons he's played. Do you think a move like that, alongside all of the new rules coming in baseball, are going to, you think that would improve consistency?
What, implementing like a specific amount of games played? I mean, I think you're kind of in a very lower sense seeing that with pitchers and inning workloads. Maybe not necessarily with position players, but yeah, I don't really see how that would be necessary with a 162 game season.
Make it 200, honestly.
Yeah, make it 200. I'd vote for that tomorrow.
I seriously speaking, I don't think it'll ever shorten, just because baseball is, again, such a numbers game with different guys throughout the year, where a guy can get off to a terrible start and end up having an all-star type season just because it takes some guys a while to get going.
Yeah.
It's a long year. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You need it. I don't know if there's any other answer besides you need 162 games to figure out who's the best. I'll say it. There's no frauds, I think, at the end of the season. There's no frauds. If you get in and you get to the World Series, you are the best team in the league. So I think it helps weed out the week.
We talk too about like sample sizes with position players, with at bats and stuff like that. Like, how many at bats do you start considering it to be an improvement or a decline in a batting line or with your stuff as a pitcher? Like, I think the sample size is important. 200 games also gives the Pirates the best chance to get close to 100 wins.
Oh yeah, now big brain stuff here. Yeah.
Like,
well, I saw
quite
there,
literally it increases their chances statistically. So just throwing that out there. I'm not a stats guy, but
we got about We got about 5 minutes left. We're running up on an hour here. So if you want to finish recapping the game, we got no more live questions. But what are you guys going to do with your last 5 minutes here?
Talk about the rest of the weekend, I guess. Let's talk about last night. We got Roki tonight, and then Tyler Glass now tomorrow. What would suffice in your mind with this road trip? Winning both series, like taking 4 of 6, like that would be a huge win.
If
for
you
me.
take 4 of 6, then I'm drinking the hopium again.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I'm all the way back on. I might already be back on. They've won 3 in LA so far.
Yeah.
Between the Angels and the Dodgers, that would have honestly been enough for me going into this trip. So I think if they win tonight, then you're talking like, hey, can we turn this thing back around? You get that momentum building. Baseball's huge with that. Consistency in the lineup, consistency of just putting out a good product on the field and getting a good result. That's contagious. So yeah, if they win tonight, then I'm all the way back in.
Yeah, season's not over. I know it's been a tough start, not what we thought it would be. I know the last couple seasons we may start hot and then tail off as the season goes on. Maybe it's the reverse this year. Maybe we've had some injuries to start the season. There's no doubt about it. I know we necessarily didn't do what we wanted to do in the offseason and didn't improve this team enough. But hey, there are some reinforcements coming. There is Bubba Chandler, who is a top-tier prospect. There is Spencer Horwitz, who is our key offseason, acquisition, who's going to be added to this lineup. So yeah, if you told me that they were taking 3 of 6 even on this road trip, I would have been thrilled with that. I would have been absolutely thrilled with that.
Let's talk about reinforcements real quick. We got a couple minutes. This lineup could look significantly different if everyone stays healthy, and then when you get the guys back
By June,
you get Nick Gonzalez back in the lineup, who, looking at the numbers, he's our best hitter right now. He's hitting 1,000, I think.
1,000 and not how many games did he play?
We had 1 at bat. So
There you go.
no, you get Nicky G back. That could add some slug, some aggressiveness to the lineup. You just mentioned Horwitz. You add Bubba Chandler. You get some more guys, and then like the question that we got earlier, does that mean like, hey, maybe we sell a guy to bring somebody in that can contribute to this lineup, an outfield bat, somebody that can provide power, even if it's for half a season, taking something like that more seriously and showing the fans we not only do we believe with the guys that we have on the field right now, we're willing to go out there and supplement that in order to push the needle, which again, I know I'm preaching to the choir, everybody watching this, that hasn't happened, but that's what you would like to see.
Yeah.
At least this year.
Yeah, and you like to see some bounce backs from guys. Like you want to see Henry continue to improve. You want to see, hey, even Jack in AAA. I know this is many people are thinking about Jack Swinsky right now, but string together some good weeks in AAA, and maybe use these guys as trade chips. Like we want to see the progress throughout, not just at the major league level, but at AA, at AAA. And there's a guy in Greensboro right now, Javier Rivas. He might be the bat that emerges this year. So yeah, it's still early. And I think there are reinforcements coming within and potentially externally, in the next coming months. So don't lose the hopium just yet. Got a lot of baseball left.
Let them get hot.
Let them get hot.
All right. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I got 11 o'clock on my watch here. We've been streaming for almost an hour. What are your sign-offs here?
Go to Allegheny Coffee and Tea in the Strip, in the best neighborhood in Pittsburgh.
Allegheny Coffee and Tea. We will be out here. I think we're going to start off every other Saturday.
So we'll be here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think we're going to aim for around 9:30 on Saturday mornings. We should have the free coffee cards. So if you ask a question, that's pretty easy. You come down to the Strip. You can do a lot of shopping down here, and you can get a free coffee while you're doing it. Get some merch from Allegheny, get some candles, some beans, and let's talk Bucks. So I think this went pretty well for a first go of it, a live show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best weather out today, but hey, it's only going to get better, and it'll be fun sitting out here interacting with the people passing by and talking Bucks.
Absolutely. So make sure you subscribe to YouTube if you're watching. You don't already. We got episodes that come out 3 times a week, 2 big league episodes, 1 recapping everything down on the farm, and then of course the live show every other Saturday. Go follow us on all socials: Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok,
OnlyFans,
and more. So until next time, raise it.